Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another live stream of a high stakes PLO podcast. My name is Joe Ingram One, also known as Chicago Joey. We are joined this week by my friend, who I'm not sure many people actually in the PLO world or the PLO community might know. I know he's been recently transitioning over to the PLO world, but I've been playing full ring with him since I started playing poker back in the day in 2007, 2008. He has the most important thing you can have in poker, which is a bracelet, and he's a 15-time Supernova Elite, maybe not 15 times, but very long-time poker player, long-time 2+ tour, talked about weed in a very fun thread in High Stakes No Limit before. My friend Will Jaffe. Will Jaff? What the fuck is your last name? Will what?
Just Jaffe.
Will Jaffe, a.k.a. Dankness. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Joey?
I'm very happy for you to join, my friend. Did I accurately describe you? So let's
You got it all.
Tell the people a bit about you, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much what Joey said. I mean, I've been, all over the place. Got Supernova Elite a bunch, then Black Friday, then got lucky, won a bracelet. Yeah, and now I'm just playing PLO because it's awesome and I love it.
So, as he said, PLO is awesome, and you love it, and he loves it. So that's kind of the general theme of these PLO podcasts, is that PLO is a great game. It's a fun game. And as you see, we have a longtime No Limit player who's recently converted over here on today's episode.
Join us.
What have you been playing? How long have you been playing PLO since you came over? You were playing a lot of mid stakes, No Limit, full rings. I think you played 6-max towards the end of it for a long time.
Yeah.
Now you're playing PLO. How long's it been? How many tables are you doing? What's your approach been to PLO?
Well, I think I started playing like when I was getting Supernova Elite. It would I think maybe 2010 or something. The end of the year, I was like a little bit burned out from playing all year, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to play PLO. I'm going to try and play PLO to get VPPs for the end of the year. So I loaded up 24 tables of like 1, 2, 6-max PLO, and shockingly, I just got destroyed. But I made Supernova Elite pretty quickly and got a lot of VPP. So that was like my introduction to PLO, and it was pretty brutal. Like I think probably I swore after that I'd never play again. But I don't know. I got really bored. I think like over the past few years with Hold'em, especially like cash, just because I don't know. And I also just feel like I'm not very good at it anymore in terms of cash. So I started playing more PLO, started messing around. Zoom has been great because like you can literally just play whenever, whenever I'm out of the country, I just load up Zoom. And I started probably at 50 cents a dollar, I'd say in 2012. And I don't know, I just started playing 4 tables of Zoom, and I think I've slowly worked my way up to like, what?
Keep switching on me. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Hold on a second. Because my audio's here. The video switches back and forth when we talk, and it keeps switching over to me. So I gotta fix it. Okay, go ahead. You were telling you were playing Zoom.
Yeah, so I just basically worked my way up through Zoom, and I think I mostly play 2-5 now. Like I like 2-5. I'd like to play 2-5, and I was playing that a lot before the summer, but I kind of had a bad summer in Vegas, so I'm dropped back down to 1-2 for now. But I think I'll be back at 2-5 pretty soon. I hope.
Well, I hope so too, my young friend.
Yeah.
So I hate. I'm not saying I hate them these live, but when I do these live, I forget my little intro. So I gotta say my intro. What we're gonna talk about on today's episode. So today's episodes, for anyone that's been following PLO this week on the forums, on my Twitter, or in the High Stakes thread, there's been a young South African gentleman who's been making some noise that goes by the name of Razluka, aka my first child's future name. And we're gonna talk a little bit about where Razluka came from, who Razluka is. And we got a couple hands featuring some interesting plays that he's been known to make. We're also going to talk about, it's actually a sad day for the PLO community. I was in a Skype group recently today, and a lot of us were crying because we couldn't believe the news. But the Cleaner 11, who final tabled the World Series of Poker main event as chip leader, he's taking a break from PLO, and everyone's just distraught because they want him to keep playing, and they want the challenge, but he's going to take a break, focused on No Limit for a couple months, and Cleaner, we hope you hurry back, man. We're sending you our prayers in the No Limit world.
Cleaner, come back soon.
Please come back, guys. We all hope you come back soon, Cleaner. So good luck, my friend, on the No Limit path. We're also going to talk about Yarny Prop Bet. Yarny, there's a thread over in the High Stakes forum where Yarny proposed a prop bet 100 buy-ins in 1 month at 5, 10, 10, 20, 25, 50. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Dankness. The action's heating up. I might even throw my hat in the ring and
get it well done.
And bet on one side. I'm not sure yet. And also the hands we have today are going to be some featuring Rez Luca. We got friend and guest of the podcast, Donnie Stern, a.k.a. Ansky, Supernova 9 on PokerStars. He's back playing a couple hands. And we have for those who know Love to Program You, Love to Play You, goes by the name on PokerStars. He posted an interesting hand this week where he made one of his infamous plays. So we're going to teach you guys a little bit about how you can make that same play in different spots. So, all right, and as always, we're live streaming this, guys. Comment in the chat, ask any questions. Ask a question of me, a question of Dankness, a question about how low my tank top is cut today. And obviously Dankness is wearing a tank top in support. We appreciate that. And hit us up on Twitter if you have any questions. And that's it. All right, Dankness, let's get back into this, buddy. So you mentioned you just left the World Series and now you're back playing online. Are you back in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto now.
So what's your life like there? Do you have is it a lot of poker friends you got there? Are you and LaForte hitting the gym 7 times a day and eating 145 times a day?
I pretty much just play out here. That's really all I do. I mean, I think I want to get elite this year, so when I'm here, it's like I just try and force myself to play as much as I can, and I guess I work out sometimes. Actually, I haven't worked out in a while. That's a lie. So yeah, if you can't tell, getting a little chubby, but you know. It's tough when you got like LaForte on a week before me, you know, and everyone is just seeing this jack beast, and then I got to come on, and people are probably like, "Who is this little shrimp?" But
well, technically, I don't know if you must not be following the chronological order of my podcast, but LaForte was on a couple weeks ago.
He's the last one I watched. Let me put it that way.
Okay, well, you're at World Series. We're going to forgive you. Your mom was on last, and you're bigger than he is, so I wouldn't worry about it. Actually, we can't see your muscles. Do you want to flex from the cam? You got something there. Don't worry. You got something to build off of. You know, that's all that matters.
Start.
LaForte's an interesting specimen. I mean, if you drink 147 gallons of water a day, and if you eat 185 times a day.
I do drink a lot of water. I don't eat that much.
Well, I think that's one of the things that it takes to look like LaForte. So, as you've been learning PLO, and I think you're in a position where a lot of people have been one day, or they're thinking about doing, where they're thinking about transitioning over from No Limit to PLO. You know, what do you think have been the biggest differences that you've noticed in terms of mass tabling or just your approach that you've had to change in the different games?
Well, I would say, I mean, obvious. I think pretty much anyone who tries it knows this. Mass tabling is a lot harder when you're playing PLO. Or should I not say that? I don't want to say strategy, right? Or
I know you're a kid. Whatever you want to say. I'm not going to say anything.
No, it's still.
You share as much as you want.
You get in a lot of fun spots in PLO, and you don't get in as many fun spots in Hold'em. So if you really want to focus, I think you like have to really focus on your tables in PLO as opposed to Hold'em. Like it's much easier to autopilot and win in Hold'em, I think. Maybe not in like, maybe that's why I was losing in these current games, but like in Omaha, I mean, like, you know, I'd say, I mean, it's probably bad, but I play like 40% of hands a lot of the time, so it's a lot of spots, a lot of fun spots, and it's just a fun challenge, you know, like it's awesome. Like I love these spots you get in PLO because they're like, you always have fucking equity. That's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, PLO has really taught me to like embrace the gamble, you know, in poker, and probably a little too much because I definitely have picked up some gambling leaks, but you know, it's fun. It's fun. It's like you know, I feel like I just started playing poker like a week ago because there's just so much that goes on in PLO that I don't feel like goes on in Hold'em, that I'm constantly faced with these new spots, and they're fun, you know. They're not always fun, but when you win, they are.
The same sentiments that I first felt when I started playing PLO was I was just like, you know, the no limit thing. I thought I might have, you know, not been as good at no limit, which I don't think I was for sure. But also when I started playing PLO, it was just like this new fun challenge of games and like pretty much exactly the same things that you said I thought as well. And I've actually noticed when people having conversations with people, and a couple people posted this in the podcast thread, was they said the exact same thing you said. They said they were burnt out on no limit. They didn't love poker anymore. They weren't excited to play. and they started coming over and playing PLO, and now they like have this reinvigorate. Like they just love poker again. They're excited to play. They're learning the new game, and it's a new challenge, as you stated. So, it's interesting. You're not alone. I mean, and that's kind of why I always encourage people to at least try it out, because
man, it's fun. Everyone should play.
Right? Maybe they shouldn't play 40% of their hands like you, but they should.
No, figure your own style out. You can play a nice 16-11 like most of the guys at 50 cents a dollar, but do whatever works for you. Mix it up.
Well, as I stated before we got on the air, a friend of the podcast, Stars Red Problems, me and him were talking about your PLO game, and he said that he was up a couple of buy-ins against you. Now with it getting, without revealing too much about Stars Red Problems' PLO game, if he tells me he's up a couple of buy-ins against me, I'm going to be breaking down math problems for the next 5 weeks straight until I figure out not to let Stars Red Problems be up a couple of buy-ins.
Well, it would help if I knew his screen name, but I'm also kind of curious to see what the regs think about me, because I think a lot of them probably think I'm terrible. So I really would like to know, like, if there's any way to find out, like, especially like, I don't know, guys like Paulie Adler and Action Freak. I want to know what these guys think of me. Like, I want to know whether they're like just drooling whenever they see me, like if they have like a fish finder on me or something, or if they're like, oh shit, it's Dankness. I better drop down to 1-2 now.
Well,
I think either of those, but
Action Freak does post regularly in the PLO forums on 2+2. You know who he is on 2+2?
I don't think so.
He is. Well, I know he said his screening, but he's not like. I'll tell you out there, but he's not like actually outed on the forums. He wants to say.
I don't want to out people. I mean, God forbid.
I know what he can say. He posts regularly in the thread though. So, and Paulie Adler, I hate him. I don't care. I don't want to hate him. Many people I know don't like him, but they say he's who.
Well, I think he's good, so that's why I want to know.
Well, I don't think most people are like WCG, where they just like come out openly out and say like, this guy sucks. Like they want to tell you you're good, so you keep doing what you're doing. They don't want to like. They don't want to.
That's true. I want to know what people really think.
Yeah, I don't think that happens unless they get mad at you and then someone's like says in chat like you're fucking terrible. I hate you. You suck. Like that sort of thing. But
it's funny because like Sea King.
We know Sea King if we know people.
I was playing with him the other night and he goes off in chat like every single time. I definitely run well against him, but I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm terrible. But like he just lets me know in chat. You know what I mean? So does that mean he thinks I'm good? I don't know. He's literally like and he tells me what I'm doing wrong in chat. He's like, keep flatting out of position with that hand, you bleeping idiot, and I'm just like, okay, I will, I think. So is that like a sign that someone thinks I'm good? I'm there's a lot of leveling going on there.
Sea King, you fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up, man. All right, message to Sea King. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
he's in Thailand. He's raging constantly. He sends me these fun messages on Skype that I enjoy. I miss them. So, Sea King, chill out, man. Chill out. All right. But yeah, that's usually a sign when someone tells you you're doing something wrong in chat. That usually means you're maybe doing something wrong in their opinion, and you something to think about. So, yeah. I would encourage everyone out there, if you identify a leak in your opponent while you're playing with them, shut the fuck up and don't tell them. If you're playing live, don't berate them. Don't say something to them. Don't tell them what they're doing wrong. Because
I think you should smoke some weed, man. That's my advice to you.
Dankness, you're an expert in transitioning, my friend. Now, one thing that you're known for in the community is smoking weed. I'm not sure how you're known for smoking weed in the community, but you also made a thread in the High Stakes No Limit thread, maybe 2011, a couple years ago, where you talked about weed and poker. Now, tell us about your love of weed and how it relates to your life and poker.
Well, it's not a love anymore. I don't know if you know this, but when I made that thread, I quit smoking weed. And I haven't smoked weed since then. I haven't smoked weed in almost 5 years. Did you not know that?
I don't do much research. I mean, I know that you still have weed, but when I have a bad memory, 1 and 2, I don't like to do research anymore on podcasts because I just want to ask questions and learn on the spot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I don't smoke weed anymore. I haven't smoked in 5 years. I basically just smoked like all the time, back when, before 2011. I think I quit in 2000. 2010. I don't know. Anyway, it's been like 5 years, and yeah, 5 years.
What kind of math are you doing, bro?
PLO guy, you got it. 5 years.
Dude, I literally just read my first PLO. I read my first math book 1.5 weeks ago, and I just learned what 2-to-1 meant. So I can't.
I'm a field player anyway, so I don't read too much into that. Although I do look at the numbers because they look cool and they sometimes help. But
I'm a field player. Why? So wait, why is everybody associated with weed? We have some people in the chat. Somebody I know and you know well, Marty Rose, aka Biggie Smalls on 2+2, longtime 2+2er and Stars player. I know he associates you with weed because I think we've talked about this in person before. Me and Marty have. Also, we have very legendary bum hunter Tim Stone in the chat. He says hello to you as well.
Hey Tim, how's it going? That guy's a legend, man. He's going to be the first guy to make $1 million playing no higher than 1-2.
Well, I don't know. He might already made $1 million. I don't know. He's a very epic person. I'm gonna have him on a podcast one day, and he's one of my most favorite people I've ever met in poker. I've seen him in a couple countries. We've had some very fun times. He got to see me at the peak of my rage, and I don't know if he was scared, but he might be the first person to never play in a hard lineup in his whole entire poker career and make $1 million. So
yeah, it's an impressive feat.
It's pretty impressive actually no, it's not that impressive, but I think there's a couple poker stars guys like that. Who are they? Who are the big bum hunters now?
Is Vinny Vici one of those guys?
He's a no limit guy. We can't talk about him on the PLO. No one knows who Vinny Vici is. He's like the.
Tim doesn't play PLO.
Tim?
Yeah, he doesn't play PLO, does he?
PLO people ask me about Tim Stone. They're like, hey, when are you gonna have your friend Tim Stone on a podcast? I see him like bum hunting with his shirt off and instantly sitting to the left of the fish 100% of the time, 18 hours a day. So they kind of want to know more about him. So.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't do weed anymore, correct?
No weed.
Okay. And we have somebody in the chat who I know, TJOO on PokerStars, TJOO8.
Hey, I've been playing with him a lot.
He said he's been playing with you some.
Tell him to stop free-betting me. What'd he say?
He said you're not bad, but he won't say more. And he says hello.
Tell him to stop free-betting me.
What? Is he free-betting you a lot?
Yeah, just tell him to stop free-betting me because it's annoying.
So you get annoyed by somebody free-betting you?
No. I love it. Keep free-betting me. Anyway, let's go to the next topic. No, so weed, yeah. So I don't smoke weed anymore because it's terrible, and this is a message to anyone. Weed is a very dangerous drug, and I know people are probably thinking, oh, he's crazy, he's lost his mind, but no, I smoked weed every day, for probably like from when I was like 19, to when I was like 24, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And I was just high all the time. That's why I'm Dankness, was because, Dankness means good weed. And I just got really sick of it. And, I stopped, and now I'm a lot happier. So I would recommend anyone who is thinking about quitting to just quit. But if you like it, whatever. Pretty harmless.
So I guess now you replaced weed with anything? Is it just you just cut weed off? You don't smoke, you don't drink, or what? Like what?
No, I drink a little. I've never been much of a big drinker. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I guess I would say, and this is going to sound really cheesy, but I replaced weed with conversations. I like to talk to people.
Makes sense. Do you talk with people a lot in person, or is it more online type of stuff?
No, it's not like online. Like it's not like I'm on JDate every day, but no, I like to talk to people in person. It's one of my big pleasures in life. Well, people I like, not everyone. I think there's definitely people I don't want to talk to, but no, I like, I wasn't really doing it much when I was high. I was kind of, getting supernova lead and, not really talking that much. And now I just want to talk to people. That's why I'm glad to be on here. It's like we're in person.
It pretty much is. That's interesting. So you like to talk to people, but you spend a lot of time in Toronto playing poker, though. So I mean, how much actual in real life interaction are you having up there?
Up here, it's pretty rough. I mean, I have a couple poker buddies that are up here, but I'm really just grinding. So I kind of try and balance that between when I'm here, I'm grinding like all the time, and then when I'm home, I literally try and spend every waking moment with someone else. I have my girlfriend at home who I'm always with, and then, just like my non-poker friends, and then when I'm in Vegas, what was great is that, I lost a lot of money, but I literally have all these poker friends that I never see except when I'm in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to hang out with like a different poker friend, every night, which is, it's awesome. I mean, that's one of the things I realize is so great about poker is you meet all these people that you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Do you have any PLO friends that you're friends with now that you talk to that are in the community that you might know?
No, I definitely would like more PLO friends. It's funny because I was watching a little bit of Ansky's podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and he said something about not wanting. He said something about someone asking him about coaching, and him not wanting to, not sure what he wanted to do because he doesn't know if they're going to then make videos or something. And I was the person who asked him about coaching because I've met him a couple times, and he just seems like a really nice guy, and I wanted to, ask him about coaching, so I asked him about coaching. And then I was thinking, like, he didn't seem too into it, but he also didn't seem like totally opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but that was kind of funny. But no, I would love to have more PLO friends because I love PLO. I love to. I think about it all the time. That's the thing with PLO is like I'm constantly like thinking about it. I'm really actually obsessive about it. But it's funny. There's the Borgata in Atlantic City.
Yep.
There's a huge fish right there, right there, right now, playing mostly just 25-25, I think, PLO. But I keep getting these texts from my friends who are in the game, and this guy's sitting with 50K in a 25-25 game that's uncapped, and he's just getting it in. Like he's playing 100K pots on the regular with like one pair of hands. It just sounds like the most, like it makes me literally just want to like drive right to Borgata right now.
Do you happen to know if he's South African by any chance?
No, it's not Razluka.
Oh, that was Razluka. Okay, I thought Razluka was in Borgata playing in the VPN.
That's probably much worse than Razluka, from what I've heard about Razluka. Razluka seems like he could be, onto something. I don't know.
What?
I haven't seen that many hands, I like his aggressive style, though.
What? So wait, you think Razluka is the new run-at-once coach, and this is like a different type of strategy he's implementing?
No, I haven't really seen much of his hands, but, I like his style.
Well, I had an impromptu 2 live streams I did earlier this week, and we all watched Razluka play. It was a very popular live stream, and I think the consensus was that Razluka is an interesting player, and he might be making some questionable plays when it comes to good or bad. So, but I mean, as you'll see in a couple hands, Dankness, maybe we have some hands later we're gonna put on, maybe in a little bit, and
okay,
maybe maybe you're right. Maybe he's making some interesting plays. So, but as you said, so you mentioned that you'd like more PLO friends, and obviously I'm sure other people out there are in the similar position as you because I don't really hear too much about. Like a lot of the mid-stakes guys that I talk to, it doesn't really seem like most of them have these medium-sized PLO groups of friends or even big PLO groups of friends. I don't really know of any like Skype PLO group chats or anything like that. So, if anyone, obviously, people are looking to talk PLO, they can get in touch with you on 2+2. They get in touch with me. They can get in touch on us with Twitter. And, obviously, I think we're always both looking to expand our network of PLO friends, whether it's just talk strategy, just talk PLO. It's like it's a different world. I mean, I talk to a lot of No Limit people still, but I mainly spend all my time talking to PLO players, and
I mean, to be honest, like I don't really play much No Limit besides tournaments. So if I'm hanging out with No Limit players, we're normally never talking about poker, which is fine. But like, it would be nice to have PLO people, especially people in person, because like I feel like these guys are all in like Sweden or like some part of Europe or something. So I don't know. I was hoping I'd meet some at the summer, but I actually think I only met one PLO reg, and he's not even really a reg.
Is he a Stars guy?
Yeah.
What's his screen name?
You might not know him. His name's just like Floby. It's FLOEBI, I think.
I've heard his name before.
He's got a little dog avatar.
I think he's got 11% 3-bet. Don't ask why I remember these things, but I do.
It was funny because I had him. I haven't played with him much. I think he normally plays bigger, but I had a fish tag on him because he doesn't play that much. So I think I might have played with him at like 10-20 or 5-10 once, and the table like snap filled up when he sat down. So I just assumed he was a fish. But he's actually just a really cool like young German kid, and he just said he likes to take shots. Like he'll just grind like mid stakes and whatever, and then just take big shots. But he was the only person I met, and he actually had like a funny story about the cleaner. He said he met the cleaner, and they were hanging out. I think this was in Vegas, and they were hanging out, and he was because I guess the cleaner doesn't use the cleaner like doesn't has the feature where you don't see the runouts, like you don't see his cards until the river. You know what I'm saying? All in pots.
He doesn't see his cards, or he doesn't see the opponent's cards?
Neither. But you can do that on stars or whatever.
So,
like when he gets all in on the flop, the opponent doesn't get to see his hand, and he doesn't get to see the opponent's hand till the river.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And Floby was telling me that this really tilted him because he wanted to know what he had. He wanted to know what he was sweating. He likes to gamble, like. And so when he was with the cleaner, they were hanging out, whatever, and like, and he said, hey cleaner, like, dude, why don't you turn on the hole cards thing? That really tilts me. You don't want to lose me from your games. You're obviously wanting me in there. And he said the cleaner's answer tilted him so much because the cleaner just said like something like I don't want to see because I don't want to be results oriented or something, which makes kind of sense. You know what I mean? Like, but it tilted this kid because this kid's so like he wants to gamble. He's a good player, but he's like there are grinders that are this solid that won't even like look at the whole cards. You know what I mean? Like just want to get it in with good equity, and so I thought that was a funny story. But it makes me want to meet the cleaner too. This guy just sounds like a robot.
Can you imagine if the cleaner had an avatar of a black man with a white child? How much more tilted people would get? You're not only losing to a black guy with a white kid, but you're also losing to a guy that won't show his hole cards, and he bets weird fucking sizes. I mean, that's like the ultimate combination of tilt. When I used to, I think you were the person I might have stolen an avatar from. You used to use a black guy as an avatar. You used Gucci Man as an avatar, right?
I always use rappers. Yeah, I love Gucci Man, and people are so racist.
I know. I took the black guy avatar from you. That's why I started using a black guy.
Hey man, it works. I gotta switch it back actually. I got a white kid. I don't even know why it's been there for a while, but I'm gonna switch it back after this actually.
Yeah, I noticed that when I used interracial avatar, interracial couple, or an interracial man and a woman, or a man and a child, that people would always comment very negatively towards me when I beat them. So I just kept using those avatars.
You should use do you know DeMarcus Ware from he's on the Cowboys or something? Mm-hmm. There's a picture of him holding a white baby. It's an amazing picture. You should literally use that as your avatar. Check it out. It's
well, I think if I ever have another Stars avatar, which I will one day, I will definitely use DeMarcus Ware with a white baby.
You see it?
Are you just like scouting out for these
No, I've just seen this picture. It's a great picture. He's like a massive dude with this
tiny... Oh shit, what the fuck? It's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird picture.
Yeah, you should use that one. Oh my god, what the hell? This is weird. Okay, well, that's pretty weird. So, all right, let's get into a hand. Let's get into a hand. Why don't I show some Raz Luca hands real quick because they're really epic. And if he starts playing, we're gonna be doing a couple more streams of his playing because that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed doing the impromptu live stream because we got some pretty good interaction. People asked questions. We got to sweat some fun hands.
You get to sweat him, right?
What'd you say?
You get to sweat Raz Luca playing too while you're doing it, right?
Yep. Yeah, so it was kind of fun. So we got to watch him play, make some interesting plays, and pretty good time. We had a good turnout. So, all right, first hand. Did I post this hand? Oh, I must have. Okay. Let's zoom in here. Okay, so there's not much strategy said in some of these hands. We're just going to talk about them and then comment. So this is our first hand of the week. It features the South African Raz Luca. A lot of people said, who is Raz Luca? Where is he from? We don't know. He's from South Africa. There's been some speculation that he might be in the blood diamond industry. Actually, it's like a very weird connection to our friend Alexo18, whose family has the Chilean Mining Corporation over in Chile. And I don't know. I've been speculating that maybe they're somehow connected, but I don't think so. But they play a similar style. They're both pretty aggressive and pretty crazy. So there might be some logic to that. But in this particular hand, this is one of he's got a very big stack. He's got an 816 big blind stack, and legend has it he ran up a $77,000 stack at 1020 this week.
I heard about it. So epic.
So Twin Caracas, aka George Arias, and me were talking on Facebook, and he mentioned Raz won $8K from him, and he won the rest from Alex KP. And for those that don't know Alex KP,
Good for him.
I know he posts. Alex KP is a guy.
I know Alex KP.
He posts on 2+2. He posts. He's known for he makes one bluff a month, and then he posts it in the 2+2 high stakes thread.
You don't know if he's editing cards or whatnot.
He's definitely editing cards though, but he wants you to think he's this crazy bluffer, and when he's not a bluffer. So, we're not happy, we're not sad about Raz taking money from him, but it just shows you don't post fake bluffs if you ever make a bluff. So we get into this hand right here. It's a 10-20, kind of interesting lineup. We got actually this was one of the better lineups I think that I saw Raz in, because now Raz has been getting he got in some really bad lineups where he had no chance later on in the week, but. This one's got Latejski, who's a Finland guy. He's like kind of like shows up. He plays.
I've met him before.
You what?
I met him a couple years ago.
Is he? What do you think about him?
He's cool. Like young kid, tall, looks Swedish. Okay. Pretty much like I would imagine most PLO players.
Yeah. Have you ever met Matt Pellet?
No, I'd like to meet him. Because he's pretty good, I think.
Hey, Mahit, if you're watching this, fuck you, buddy. All right. We got Flong78. I hate Mahit, by the way. I hate him so much.
Why do you hate these people? I mean...
Oh, my God. I hate this motherfucker so much. This fucking... Oh, my God. I can't even get into it.
I think I like Flong. Don't get into it.
We got Flong78, and we got the man, the myth, the seat scripter,
Yeah, this guy is fucking weird. I have like nightmares about him, not because he's good, but just because he's fucking weird. He pops up at every table. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be eating at a restaurant. He's gonna pop up on my left. That's how much this dude pops up at your fucking tables.
Just imagine how the top tier players are feeling.
Yeah.
He just pops up right to your left. You're like, holy shit, where the fuck did this guy come from?
It's fucking scary.
Yeah, it's got to be scary for the Raz Lucas of the world. And then we got Cobus 83. So this hand starts with the weaker reg at the table, Spanish, opening up to 50, and Raz Luca, identifying that Spanish is the weaker regular, decides to isolate, 3-bet him and isolate him in position because he wants to get heads up with the weak reg at the table. And I think that's a pretty good, it's a pretty good thing that Raz Luca does in some of these hands is he identifies the weaker player at the table and then he tries to take advantage of him, which, that's what he tried to do here. But unfortunately, so Spanish opens the 50, Raz Luca 3-bets the 140, Latejski flat calls in the small blind out of position, and then the motherfucker Mahit decides to cold 4-bet with King 3-7 with King 3 of spades, King 3-7 of spades. So he makes a very loose 4-bet.
Questionable.
He's identifying that Raz Luca is then isolating a little bit weaker regular, so then he in turns decide to isolate the second weak regular at the table, Raz Luca. And unfortunately, Raz Luca decides he 3-bets with it's a decent hand, 9-9-2-4 double suited. He makes quads with that hand. He flops some backdoor quad draws, and sometimes he'll flop an immediate quad draw, which is pretty cool strength that 9-9-2-4 has. So he calls, and I can't fucking say this guy's name.
Just say Latsky.
Latsky calls. So they go to the flop, 1880 in the flop. The flop's 2-2 queen. So Raz Luca flops a quad draw with 9-9-2-4 on 2-2 queen.
Very good flop, because he's always getting paid here from overpairs. It's important to note that.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's a good thing. When he calls the 4-bet with 9-9-2-4, he knows that when he hits a 9, when he flops a straight, and when he makes trip 2s or bottom 2 pair, that he's going to stack kings and aces. He's going to get in ahead at least, which is an important thing when you're calling a 4-bet. So he goes ahead, calls 4-bet, flops trips, Mahit blindly, wildly jams in his King 3-7. Raz Luca obviously goes all in, and the board runs out 10 and ace, and Raz Luca wins a $5,000 pot with trip 2s. So, I think we have a pretty well played hand by Raz Luca. Nice hand, buddy. So second hand with Raz, another very well played hand. So this time he decided to take a little move up to 5,100.
Ooh.
Yes, hand's sick. And unfortunately, he's in a lineup with the bum hunter heads up player Pimpy Limpy. He's with a guy suffering a bit of run bad recently, Jeans89. And one of our favorite PLO players, Tolly Star. So they're This hand's between Razluka and Jeans at 5100 zoom, so they're about 216 big blinds deep. So Raz makes the standard open on the button with Queen, Jack, Jack 2, with the Jack 2 of diamonds.
Like it.
Like it. I like it. Jeans 3 bets with 5-5-3-3, a double pair hand out of position from the small blind.
Hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I don't know. You're out of position. This guy Razluka's crazy. I don't know. Whatever. You know, let's not. I don't want to talk too much strategy, but you know.
Okay. So Jeans 3 bets. You know, very questionable attacking a player like Razluka, who's been shown he shows no fear in every situation. Not a hand I like against him, but it's okay. Razluka obviously defends in position with Queen Jack Jack 2. The flop, unfortunately for Jeans, is Jack 10-3. So the problem with 3-3-5-5 is that when you do flop a set, you flop bottom set, and when you get in 200 big blinds with 3-3-5-5, sometimes you're going to be overset. You're going to be against a top 2 pair and a better draw, and you get in with bottom set, and you're not even going to be a favorite. So
exactly. So
Razluka flops top set, Jeans flops bottom set, and Jeans has no backdoors. What is he a backdoor? He's backdoor quad draw. He's on a backdoor quad draw. Okay, and Raz has.
He can hit a 4-ace.
What'd you say?
He can hit a straight, right? 4-ace.
Oh shit! See, I'm missing equity here. Backdoor straight draw. All right. You're right. Well, I've been trying to really let people know that you need to remember the backdoor quad draw, because the backdoor quad draw adds 0.008 equity to your hand. And now it doesn't seem like a lot on the surface, but when you really break down the numbers, it does. It means a lot. So in this hand, Razluka flops top set, Jeans flops the bottom set, Jack 10-3. Jeans c-bets, Razluka raises, Jeans, they basically get all in on the flop, and Razluka holds with top set, and he wins a $43,000 pot at 5,100 against Jeans. So just, Razluka making a good hand. Sometimes you make good hands. This is a hand of another 5,100 hand.
Ooh, this one looks even more interesting.
Yeah. So similar lineup. Jeans, Razluka, Mama Said Knock You Out, who we've had numerous hands on the podcast. Maybe not one of the better players, but he's trying. It's all he can fight. He's a rumored to be a Panamanian drug lord. So isn't that what we always assume? Anybody from a South American or somewhat, I'm not sure which actually where Panama is considered.
Also, I feel like there's some unfair stereotypes here. Like, who says a Panamanian drug lord is going to be bad at PLO? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I see your point. I agree with you.
I could invent a new style that, in 5 years from now, everyone plays like it.
So do you think when a Panamanian drug lord is thinking about PLO strategy, you think he's like counting out, I don't actually know what a Panamanian drug lord does on a day-to-day basis. I'd like to know. If we know one, please get us in touch with us to have him on a podcast. But how do you think they study PLO differently than me and you might study PLO?
I mean, I think it's kind of a different game for them. Like, if they're a Panamanian drug lord, that's not like an easy title. You don't you know what I mean? That's not like Supernova League. Like, he's probably killed people, So like, it's what is PLO to him? You know what I mean? What is like a 4-bet? You know what I'm saying? I think it gives him an instant edge.
You make a really great point. I mean, you don't get to be a drug lord in a country like Panama very easily. To get there, you might have to do some slightly illegal things. You might, as you said, kill people, and that's not a guy that's going to be scared of you 4-betting him. So, maybe Mama Said Knock You Out's play makes more sense now that we've been able to identify these common themes that we might find. And I didn't mean common themes. I take that back. People forget I said that. Let's get to the hand. So, Jeans opens under middle position to 300 with Ace Queen Jack 8 double suited, strong hand. Razluka, identifying that last pot he won versus Jeans, maybe misidentifies Jeans as a weaker player and decides to make one of his patented small 3-bet isolation raises in position.
Fair enough.
With Ace Jack 10-7 with the Jack 10 of diamonds, a questionable hand, but
this I don't like. I like the other two. This I don't like.
Yeah,
I'm not understand the strategy. I'm just gonna say I don't like it.
No, it's okay. He wants to isolate against Jeans, and they're about 167 big blinds deep, so I can understand his play. He knows Mama Said Knock You Out is gonna call a lot from the big blind, so he wants to get it heads up, and I think that's totally fine play. But unfortunately, Mama Said Knock You Out cold 4-bets. he starts with 54 big blinds, so he's going to have some other hands besides just aces. Unfortunately, in this hand, he does have ace, ace, king, queen with 3 spades, which is a fine 3-bet, 4-bet. Jeans decides to 5-bet, trying to get all in against Mama Said.
Which he succeeded in.
Unfortunately, Razluka decides that this is a good time to stick in $17,000 pre-flop with...
And you know what? It kind of is a good time, because look at Gene's hand. He's kind of fucked.
Well, technically, Gene's dominates Razluka in this situation.
Oh, that's true. I wasn't really looking, but I'm just saying Gene's against Mama Said is in bad shape. He's got all his outs.
Yeah, I mean, Gene's play with ace, queen, jack, 8 double suited.
No, I like it. I actually like it, but...
I mean, it's actually might be some conversation about maybe just because, well, okay.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Razluka got a little lucky here. I'm not sure about his play.
Well, so Razluka actually has the bottom of his range. The bottom of this is like the worst hand Razluka actually has in this situation, and I don't think Razluka's folding ever. And I mean, I guess he might fold pre-flop, but I don't think he's actually folding to Gene's $9,100 raise. So if we assume Mama Said knock you out has a very similar hand as Gene's have, and sometimes he has aces, then Gene's hand isn't actually in that good a shape against Razluka. So with that said, the flop comes. They're all in pre-flop, and basically what happens is Razluka makes a straight, and he wins a $40,000 pot against Gene's, and Mama Said knock you out. So Razluka makes a questionable play with ace 7, 10 jack, but sometimes in PLO, which is a reason we love PLO, you get rewarded for your questionable plays. So, and then we got, oh, wow, okay, all right, Razluka showing us why he's inspired so many out there. You know, I've actually gotten messages on Twitter from people saying Razluka inspires him. So, and this is a perfect example. So, I'll show you the results first, Dank, if you haven't seen this hand. Razluka showing his no fear. So it's hand is between Tally Star and Razluka. They're about 160 big blinds deep. Tally Star opens the button to 250 with ace jack 4-3 with ace 4 of diamonds. Razluka defends in the small blind with ace queen 7-4 with ace queen 7 of clubs. A reasonable defend for a player like Razluka who's very confident in his post-flop abilities. So the flop comes down king jack 2 with 2 diamonds. So Tally Star flops nut flush draw with a middle pair and 2 backdoor straight draws. Razluka flops an open-ended straight draw with a backdoor club draw and a backdoor wheel draw. I'm all about the backdoors in this game, I swear to God. So Tally Star goes ahead and continuation bets 450 into 600. Razluka check calls with his backdoor and his gutter. The turn's a 7 of diamonds, which gives Tally Star the nut flush, and Razluka doesn't really change his hand. He makes third pair. Razluka checks, Tally Star bets 1265 into 1500, and Razluka decides to make a questionable play, and he check raises here to 4700 with representing the flush. Now, what I've noticed from Razluka is that, and this is why some people don't think he's a total top-tier player, is that he makes these weird plays with these sizes sometimes. So he indirectly or directly, he actually check raises here to set up a pot size bet on the river. Now, I don't know if he knowingly did this, but I've noticed in some instances he uses these like really unorthodox. I mean, I don't say unorthodox is the word, but he uses weird sizings like this, which he does in this hand, to just, you know, I've been watching a lot of his play. I don't necessarily know 100% what to make of it, but I think it's interesting, and it shows that he's kind of a little bit thinking player. Just doesn't like folding. So,
yeah.
You know, what do you think of his turn play here, Nick?
Questionable. I think maybe he thinks Tally has the ace of diamonds, and he's going to float him, and then he's going to be able to get him off on the river.
That's advanced.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't really understand it otherwise. But hey, you know, like this guy ran up a 75K stack at 1020, so he's clearly doing something right.
That's interesting. That's interesting thinking. I think I think Raz might be thinking that Tally. Yeah, I mean, fucking who knows? He might be thinking that. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Why not?
He literally. I mean, maybe he is thinking that. Who knows? Res Luca, man, we got to get you on a pod, bro. But he goes ahead, he bluffs the river for 10.8K, and Tally calls, and Tally wins a $32,000 pot with the nut flush. But, wow, Res Luca, man. Nice hand, buddy. So, I got a couple more hands. I usually split it up, the podcast, into hands and some stuff. We'll get into one more hand played by friend and guest of the podcast, Donnie Stern. He's back. He was at World Series of Poker. We're not sure about how his results are. But it looks like he's back online playing in some of the 2550 and 5100 Zoom games, so we hope he does well. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, you want to learn more about Supernova 9, I did one with Ansky. You can find that back a couple weeks ago. So this hand is going to be played between him and one of the better regulars on Stars right now, Very Sweet, and this hand's fucking sick.
Whoa.
I know, it's sick. So they're about 125 big blinds effective, about $6,300 effective at 2550 Zoom. And Very Sweet opens the cutoff with ace 7 5-2 double suited, so ace 7 clubs 5-2 hearts, perfectly fine open. A guy I don't know if I've never seen him before. Team TF flats the button, and Ansky 3-bets with ace 9-3 with one nut suit. Ace 9-3, he 3-bets. His 3-bet pre-flop definitely questionable. I mean, it's sometimes a hand where people don't always 3-bet weak aces like that, especially with the unknown on the button, who I'm guessing is probably some type of tier player where he's not inclined to fold. But obviously it can't be too terrible. So Very Sweet calls, Team TF calls. Flop 9-5-2 with all spades. So Very Sweet flops bottom two pair, Ansky flops nut flush blocker. Now, how do you play the nut? What's your logic on the nut flush blocker, Dankness?
I got a pretty specific strategy with my nut flush blockers. I don't really want to get into it.
Well, I'll share my strategy with the nut flush blocker.
Okay, let me hear yours.
All in. That's my strategy. Pot, all in. I am never. If I have a nut flush blocker, I'm bluffing you 100% of the time. If I have a straight blocker, I'm bluffing you 68% of the time. And if I got a second nut flush blocker, I'm bluffing you 54% of the time. So
interesting.
Yeah, there's just some numbers out there if you guys are interested in maybe learning how to apply that into your own game. But you have a strategy you don't want to share with us, huh?
I mean, I don't want to, I'll just say this. This is an interesting hand, and I think people go a little too crazy with the nut flush blockers.
I don't think they go crazy enough.
This is an interesting hand, and I don't even know, man. This is like, I feel like this is why people win a lot of money, and I may never win that much money, because like the way Barry played this hand is just so sick.
Okay, let's get into the hand. Yeah, what the Very Sweet's fucking weird. Okay, so the flop's 9-5-2 with all spades. So Ansky has ace 9-3. He's got top set blocker with a gut shot and nut flush blocker. And Very Sweet has bottom two pair with two backdoor quadros. It's a strong hand. So Ansky's continuation bets 650 into 2,000, and Very Sweet raises $900 to 1,540.
Right now?
What?
Do you think he might be inducing?
Fucking Very Sweet, man. Very Sweet. Who did somebody say he was? Somebody told me. I'm not supposed to. Whatever. I can't say. Okay.
Tell me later. I want to meet him. He's awesome.
I know he used to play on a well-known screen name on Full Tilt.
Okay.
That was very epic player. So, and I guess that's him. I wish I knew that before though. So he raises to 1542. Supernova 9 calls. So he's obviously planning to represent. Right? I mean, he doesn't think Very Sweet's going to raise any worse flushes, and he can represent his nut flush blocker at some point in time.
Yeah.
Turn King of Hearts. So King 9-5-2. Nothing really changes. Very Sweet still top bottom two pair. Ansky checks. Very Sweet checks back. River, Queen of Clubs. So King, Queen, 9-5-2 with three spades. Ansky still has just one pair of aces with nut flush blocker. Very Sweet still bottom two pair. Ansky goes ahead and puts Very Sweet all in for $4,000 into $5,000 pot. And Very Sweet calls. And Very Sweet wins a 13.
I like it. I mean, they talk a lot in PLO about like when you're bluff catching, you don't want to have hands that they're bluffing with that beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't like it would suck for Barry if Ansky just had like King Queen here, but
It's interesting
Ansky never
if
has King Queen here, you know. So like I don't know, I kind of like it from Barry.
yeah, I don't think Ansky would bet King Queen here, which actually helped, which plays to your point that you said that.
But I don't think Ansky's betting any of the value hands except maybe like a lower flush that beat Barry. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. I think he'd probably bet the nut flush at this point, whether he'd go that sizing.
No, I'm just saying the nut flush is like the only hand, really.
I mean, maybe. I think he probably would bet.
No, he bet lower flushes too, but I'm saying he never has like Jack 10 or like a set of nines. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
so I kind of like Barry Sweet's call. I also don't love like Ansky's sizing.
On the river?
Yeah,
Why not?
I guess he's doing it to try and. I mean, it just looks bluffy to me.
I'm not sure other size he could really bet. I mean, if he bets
I guess
three,
it doesn't matter. Barry's got less than pot, but
yeah, so he has. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess I probably would just
I
have.
think it's I don't know the dynamics at these higher stakes games are really like way over my head. Um, so I mean I definitely shouldn't be criticizing a player who I literally just like a month ago asked for coaching. But
No, it's not a bet. I mean, you could look at it as criticizing. You could look at it as talking about a play somebody made. Whether just because someone that you think's better than you or might be better than you makes a play doesn't necessarily mean it's always the right play, or doesn't mean there's any merit for a different play. Like there might be some merit for betting 2K here with some part of his range. It might be some merit for potting all his range. It might be some merit for checking some of his range. You know what I mean? So it just because you might voice an opinion that some other people might not agree with doesn't necessarily make you dumb or an idiot or something like that. It just means that you're thinking about
yeah,
other ways you can play a spot. So
well I think we can all agree he can't really check the river here.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. This is a I don't know. Barry's a sick man.
But
Barry's
someone
a
someone asked a question in the high stakes thread. What the weird name? Okay. Asks if Ansky had checked the river, would Barry turn it into a bluff? Now that was an interesting question, and I thought about it, and I'm not actually sure if Barry would think that his bottom two pair isn't, if he would bluff it or if he thought he had enough showdown here. I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's a great question.
Knowing Barry, I feel like he'd probably turn it into a bluff, but I don't know. Barry's sick like that. He might just like be like, "Oh, I got bottom two. It's good here." No, there's no way he'd think it's good on the river.
I don't know. Fucking weird hand.
Yeah.
So that would then be what hands does he think Supernova is bet calling the flop with that he beats? So
I mean, the only hands are really the one he's got.
a very weirdly played blocker.
Yeah, he only beats like an ace blocker.
So he.
But he also may just think Ansky's like trapping and may just shut down and like give up. You know what I'm saying? Like he may not feel like he has to bluff two pair just because. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
I wonder. I'd be very interested to hear how often Barry thinks that his two pair actually wins here on showdown when check two, and
Yeah.
how often he gets him to. I don't think he ever expects Ansky to. He might expect Ansky to sometimes check fold a better hand, like some type of two pair, but I'm not sure if Ansky does check fold that hand, or I'm not sure how often Barry is going to expect Ansky to check fold a better two pair hand that he can bluff. So
Yeah.
it might be a spot where, yeah, interesting spot. Let's go check out the live stream. I haven't seen the comments in a bit since we've been doing that. So those are some fun hands. Yeah, we got a couple more pretty fun hands too, featuring Ansky as well, and Yarny, who we'll talk a bit more about his prop bet, and Zygmunt, and Love to Play You. So let's go ahead and check with the live stream here. As you know, we do live stream most of my stuff, and sorry guys, I haven't been reading any of the comments in the past since we started those hands because I can't have anything else open. So let me go ahead and take a look here. It's late ski. All right, thank you, Machine Head. Do you have the
comments?
Comments open? Yeah. So if you go to the YouTube link, you can open up the comments section in a new page, and so that, or if you have the video on, you can pause the video or put it on mute, so that way you don't see it.
I'm not really sure how to Click on YouTube or?
Yeah, the link that I tagged you in on Twitter. Yep. All right. So some comments here. Black people tilt the fuck out of Europeans. Thank you, Red Problems, for letting us know. Dankness, what stakes did you
Does that mean Europeans are racist? What?
Yeah, that's what Red Problems is saying. That. What stakes did you start at? Did you run it up from nothing? That's an interesting question. What did you start at, buddy?
I'm assuming he's talking about just in general, like my poker history, not like just PLO. Or what do you think?
Hold on, I just read something funny. Apparently, we have a friend of the podcast. Not, and by friend I mean not a friend. Matt Hitt. Is Matt Hitt claiming he's in the live stream chat right now? He says Matt there. Hey, fuck you too, Joe. Joe won. God damn it, Joe won, missing out on equity. How are you even playing poker? Shake my head. How does he study? With shit tons of more cocaine than how he does. Whereas Luca is horrible because if you know how he does play his hands, if he had a flush, he is more likely to show aggression on the flop rather than the turn. What's up, Matt? Fuck you, buddy. All right, go ahead, Dank. Just tell your story, man. What happened?
No, I don't. Is he talking about like my PLO history or like just my poker history? Like
probably your poker history, I'm guessing.
Well, I definitely ran it up. Like one of my best years is still like my first year playing poker to this day. It's pretty withered actually because I've been playing for like 8 years now, and it might be my best year. It was 2006, I think. I was playing sit and goes, like like I started playing on Party. I started playing like limit hold'em on Party. Was losing like $50 a time when I was in college, and my mom was like, "Hey, what is this credit card shit going on?" And I was like, "All right, I'm done. I'm not playing poker anymore." And then I dropped down to Poker Room. I don't know if you ever played on Poker Room, but it was just like a weird little site back in the day. And they had a $10 minimum deposit, so I could deposit $10 on there, and my mom wouldn't be on my back as much. And I ran. I remember like I was playing sit and goes, $10 sit and goes or whatever, and I ran my roll up to like 5K the end of my freshman year in college, and I was like super pumped about that. And I told my mom because I was like, "Hey mom, like look at this, I'm making this work." You know what I mean? And then I went home and I ended up losing it, like playing higher sit and goes in like a week, and I was like devastated. But then I ended up like for some reason I played like a $15 tournament, and I won it for like 5K. So little stuff like that, I feel like along the way kind of kept me, like in poker, if you will, the little run goods. And then for some reason I switched over to Bodog, and Bodog I started playing cash on there. And once I started playing cash, I was like, who the fuck wants to play a sit and go? Like you have to sit there and you don't even get money a lot of the time. Cash, I was just like, this is awesome, And I started playing on Bodog, and I think I just was like my sophomore year of college, I was playing like 2-4. No limit, and I was making like pretty good money. Like the games were really soft. Bodog's primarily a sports betting website. I don't know what it is now, but it used to just be like the softest thing ever. When I was, this is like 2005 probably, and I ended up. I think I went on a trip to Mexico, and I decided to take a shot at like 510, and I think I had like probably like 4K in my account or something. I was playing 510, and I remember that night I won like an 8K pot at 510. So then I just became a 510 reg, and then like a week later they put 1020 tables on the site. Like they didn't have anything higher than 510. They put 1020 tables on the site, and I was like, fuck it, I'll pick 1020 too. And I ended up winning like that year like at least 200,000 just playing on Bodog.
You're always a natural degenerate, huh? PLO was made for you, buddy.
The games were absurd, and like it was so funny too because I remember like for some reason this was like my big strategy back then was like I would call with gut shots a lot, like just check call with a gut shot, and it would turn into a backdoor flush draw and a gut shot, and I would just call again thinking like this is so good because like if I hit they're never gonna know. So I would just hit so many backdoor gut shots like that and just stack the shit out of people. Yeah, and that was how I got my start in poker. If anyone's played with me a lot and wondering how the fuck I played at any decent stakes in my life, that's how I got my start.
So you're a big proponent of my backdoor quad draw theory, then, aren't you?
No, I don't succumb to that. I like backdoor flush draws a lot more than backdoor quad draws and straight draws. I think the backdoor quad thing is probably a little bit overrated, honestly. I don't want to, I know you're pretty big on it, so I don't want to, crush your dreams, but
Honestly, I think it's a bit underrated. If I'm going to classify the backdoor quad draw as anything, it's definitely underrated. And Sea King actually brought up a really good point the other day. I think it was Sea King where we and him were discussing a backdoor straight flush draws and backdoor royal flush draws. Now, you don't actually make those too often, so I kind of didn't think too much about it. But there might be some merit into when you flop a backdoor royal flush draw that you should maybe start playing them a bit more aggressive too. So, I don't know. The live stream is they're laughing at the way you became a 5'10" reg, Dankness.
they should. I mean, it's pretty funny. I didn't become a 5'10" reg. I became a 10'20" reg.
Oh, okay. And then eventually, at some point, you decided.
Oh, so then the story turns kind of funny. Well, it's actually kind of depressing, but for some reason, I remember like I cashed out my Bodog roll and I started playing on stars and tilt. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start like multi-tabling or whatever. Like you can only play 3 tables at a time on Bovada or Bodog it was, and so I was like, whatever. I want to play more tables. I started playing on stars, and I was playing like 2-4 and 3-6 a lot, and I was just getting crushed. Like, and I was like, how is this happening? Like I was, beating 10-20, and like I remember there was this one guy on stars, him, Khalistan.
I thought you were going to say Khalees. I saw some posts in your 2+2 history where you mentioned his name. For those that don't know, he's a very legendary 4-ring player. Very, very legendary. But super old school, though.
I was playing with him on stars, and he was on, like, all my tables, and he was min-raising pre-flop. And on Bodog, in one of my big indicators on fish was that they min-raise pre-flop. That's, like, instantly a fish.
Oh, boy.
So I instantly tagged this guy, Khalistan, as a fish. And I wanted to play every pot with him. I just played every single pot with him, and he just destroyed me. And I learned later that he had made like $1 million playing 5-10 on stars. But this was after, like I had him tagged as a fish for a while. So basically, after winning all that money on Bodog, I dumped it all to the stars regs and some full tilt regs. Yeah, and then I actually had a period of time where I was playing live poker in New York City because I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like, online's not working. Khalistan's getting all my money with his stupid min raises, and I'm going to play live poker. There's a club. I know this club. So I go to this club, and there's like a 2-5 game or a 5-5 game there. I proceed to lose like 20K there in a couple weeks, and I just can't win. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally like, this is like this is maybe the lowest point of my life. Wow. So, because I went from like having like all this money to like losing like half of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was a lot of money. Like, and I mean, when you're young, like I was like 19 or 20. When you make 250K or whatever at that age, it's amazing. But when you lose like over 100K, it's like you can't even imagine what that feels like. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much money, and you lost it.
Wait, do I know what you mean? I might know what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean. You can identify with those type of swings.
I very well may know exactly what you mean, my friend, and it's not it's a very sad time. You're right.
So I was playing live poker. I couldn't even beat this, 2-5 game at the local, and these card rooms in the city are illegal, So I'm playing there, and I basically I think I had put a lot of my money away with like a stockbroker or something, the Bodog money, and I really didn't want to touch it. So I went back to my mom. And even though I had enough money, I kind of was like, hey, Mom, I was like, this is like just full on. I was a gambling addict. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I still am, but at least I think I'm a little smarter now. But so I'd bust out my like live roll, and I'd ask my mom. I'd be like, hey, can you give me $200 or something? I need money for food and stuff. And she'd send it to me, and I'd take the $200 to the poker club and lose it. And I'd skateboard home because I had no money for cabs or anything. Used to ride a skateboard everywhere. And I started seeing a therapist because my mom kind of made me see a therapist. And he lived like 80 blocks away from me. And I would skateboard up there because I had no money. And one day with the little money I did have, I bought a grilled cheese sandwich. I took a couple bites of it. I put it back in the tin foil and put it in my sweatshirt pocket. And I was skateboarding back downtown, and I'm like on the sidewalk, and a cop stops me. And he's like, hey, where are you going? Where are you going? I'm like, nowhere. He's like, come here. And I didn't have an ID with me for whatever reason. And he's like, apparently not having an ID is like a big deal in the city, so he's like, hey, I'm gonna have to search you. So I'm like, whatever. He puts me up against the wall, starts reaching, gets the grilled cheese, takes it out of my pocket, and he's like, what's this? And crushes it like this, just in the tinfoil. And I'm just like, that was my lunch, man. And that was like a microcosm of what my life was like for like probably a few months when I was just totally busto. Um, I had money, but it was like with the stockbroker, and I was just like, I'm not touching it. Eventually, I think I took some out, went back to the poker club, and I was playing at the poker club one night, and I hear like a loud commotion behind me, and I'm like, what's going on now? Like, what type of stupid shit? And I just look, and there's like 5 dudes with masks and guns. And I'm literally just like, wow, like I'm gonna die tonight. Like I'm just like, I was right there in the front, and they come around, they start robbing everyone. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I take out all my money, like instantly give it to them. They're like, get on the floor. I'm on the floor. These guys are like, I hear them like talking to the dude who was the cashier at the place, like he's crying, like they're like, I know there's fucking more money. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Then I just hear a loud gunshot, and I was just like, what the fuck? And these guys start leaving, and they're just like, they panic, they leave, and suddenly everyone kind of gets up and they're looking around, and like everyone's like kind of like, are you okay? Are you okay? Everyone's okay. There's one dude on the floor, but he's like lying, with his face down in his arm, and like people were kind of going up to him, but like I think they just assumed he was like traumatized. And like a minute or two later, someone rolls him over, and he's just got a big hole in his stomach, and he's been shot. And I just got the fuck out of there after that. They called the cops. The dude ended up dying. It was like terrible. He had like like kids and shit, and that was like it was really fucked up. But it was like a huge wake up call for me. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I just was in a full on like robbery / murder. And then I started playing online after that, and I think I watched a video of Ryan Doubt or whatever on Cardwinners 24 tabling. He was 24 tabling on Stars, and I was like, I watched the video and I was like, I could definitely do this better than him. So I deposited like 1,500 on Stars, and this was like in January, like probably like a month or two after the robbery, and I started playing I think 100 NL, and I got Supernova Elite like the next 3 years on Stars. And that was like pretty much my poker story.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wait, what the fuck? Wow. Well, I mean, I'm rarely like just sitting here in a story. I'm like I'm taken aback by that story, my friend. That's a very weird way to transition from live poker. I mean, people quit live poker every day, but normally they quit because of that. And I mean, have you played in some type of like a private poker game since then?
Yeah, I have. I stopped. Obviously, I stopped for a long time after that. But also, like the makeup of private games in the city was different back then. This was like a club. This club had like 10 tables in it. It was like there was like 100 people in there at a time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The places that I've played at since then are like one table places where you know everyone in there, and there are also places where they use a sheet, so you don't actually bring cash most of the time. You just play on credit.
You play in those places as well?
One or two places, yeah, I've played in since then.
How is it like getting paid out at those places? Because that's the other thing I always worry about with credit places is that it's just you're actually getting paid. It takes.
It can be a pain. But the place that I played in, it was just like the game was so good that I didn't really care, honestly. Like I was getting paid. Sometimes it would be like a couple weeks or whatever. But it's also like likewise, they don't ask you for money for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? So I was like, whatever. I think it might not be doing so well now, but I was fine with it. And I mean, the game was oftentimes when I have the conversation of playing like live games in the city, people bring up the rake question, and I always just think it's funny. Like if you're playing in an amazing game, like who cares if you're paying extra money? You know what I mean? Like it's just like this was the type of game where I would have literally like given each player at the table like $50 an hour just to stay there. You know what I mean? Like, so who cares if I'm like, if like they're taking like $50 out of a 5K pot or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that I've played there since then.
Do you play any? Have you played any PLO like live games like that?
No,
Private games like
these
that?
are all PLO.
What?
This is all PLO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, PLO is really taken over in the city.
So, is that why you learn more PLO? Is that why you started playing more online? Is that one of the reasons?
Yeah, it's a combination. I guess I kind of forgot to say that earlier. Was like I think probably around the time I started messing with PLO like seriously online, I was also playing in these games. But it's so different. I mean, you're playing. You go from playing like in a 2-5 game on Stars where like people are 3-betting 15% to playing in a game where if someone 3-bets, they literally have aces like every time, and you're sitting at like a 10-handed table. So it was a big learning curve like between the two. But yeah, no, that was also one of my introductions to PLO. And this one game that I was playing in that I was telling you about was just amazing, and I ended up doing really well in it. Unfortunately, I kind of had a little falling out with the owner. It wasn't like I was very nice to him, and we were friends, but he kind of was losing a lot of money in the game, and I think he just didn't really want winning players in the game, or he didn't want me in the game. So I stopped playing there, which was kind of a bummer because it was just like going into the bank every day, you know what I mean, and like just withdrawing money.
Do you ever give any consideration in that point to then maybe adjust your play where it might appear that you're playing a lot crazier, or maybe you sell that you're much more action than you actually might be? Because I know there's ways to do that in live games. You can make yourself out to be a fucking psychopath and actually not be a psychopath.
By raising a lot, it's pretty simple. You just raise a lot, and people think you never have it. Even if your raises are literally only pre-flop, like you're gonna get paid off. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that game was like, I have like dreams about that game. It's just the type of players that played in it. There was this one guy. I don't want to name him just because I feel like whatever. He's a baron. So he's like royalty in some way in Italy, and he would come in and go all in blind every hand. And I remember it was pretty sick because we were playing no limit, right? So you're in like a 5-10 no limit game. He sits with 5K. He goes all in, like whatever you got, like you got tens, you snap them off or whatever. But then when he realized that you could play PLO, he started asking, specifically requesting to play No Limit Omaha. So he started going all in blind in Omaha, which just created a really sick dynamic for a while before he stopped playing there. But that was pretty insane. We were playing No Limit Omaha for a while. With half the hands, he would just be all in blind, and there'd be like 2 calls.
What the? What? Why do you live here? Why don't you live? I guess you don't play in that game anymore, right?
No, I don't play in that game. That guy ended up stiffing the game. He left he donated probably $1 million or something, and then stiffed the game for like 30,000. But no, it's just it's also like you don't really hear about this type of stuff in casinos. You know what I mean? It's only in these home games that people just go nuts like this.
So do you plan on getting in more these private live PLO games in the future?
No. Like the problem is some of them are just massive. Like there's one game that Paul Pierce plays in that is just massive. It's like it'll start out as 25-50, but then like it'll before you know it, it's like 25, 50, 100, 200, 400, and they're raking the shit out of it. So like that's a game I don't want to be in. And there's good players in that game. It's like Paul Pierce and like good players mostly, and some very good players. But no, I don't really have much desire. It's also like shady, you know what I mean? Like you're in these clubs, like it's not like sitting online and like clicking buttons, you know what I mean? Like who knows what's going to happen? And I've obviously been lucky, but I know the worst of it too. So I don't really want to be spending all my time in these establishments.
That's kind of a reason why I've never really, because I played in some more shadier games back in the day when I was coming up, and I've had those experiences already. And I imagine once you multiply the money by the thousands, it's not going to get any better. So
yeah, no, it's
like I know there's some risk in playing online, but at the same time, it's like
the risk in playing online is probably pretty low compared to when you get in these higher stakes games, and you never know if someone's going to like be manipulating the deck or something. You know what I mean? So this one game I trusted a lot, so I was good with. But since I've lost that game, I don't really have much desire to be, experimenting with new home games.
Well, when you're in New York, I mean, is it easy finding games? Is it hard? Do you like? I guess then you probably know people who know people who know people who know games.
I know one game that's like on Thursday nights, and the dude always texts me, and it's a home game. But the guy first off, it's oftentimes not very good of a game. Like a bad game in the city is just a tight game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a game like where because then I find I'm becoming the action then. You know what I mean? And I see people are like waiting to pick me off, and that's not fun.
That's Luca.
Yeah, I become Raz Luca basically, and I probably make plays like him when I'm like tilted from all the tightness. But no, I at this point like I'm pretty set on trying to get elite and play online. And also like the thing is online, like when you're playing in these live games, I feel like you're not really getting that much better. You know what I mean? Like
for sure. Hey, hold on. Okay, can you tell that thought? I gotta go to the bathroom. I don't want to use a quick bottle. So go ahead. Tell that story. I can hear you still.
I don't think you get that much better, and it's just like online. I feel like I'm constantly learning things, and playing like against I think really good opponents, like especially at 2-5 and up. So yeah, I feel like I just don't really have much desire to play, in these city games. If I find another good one, maybe, but I don't know.
I'm coming.
Sorry, no rush.
See, that's why I use the bottle. I add away that podcast equity. I just took away like 2% podcast equity there. But I didn't hear what you said, and I completely agree that that's when I talk to people that play live PLO, they ask me how can they get better, and I say honestly it's hard because the players you're playing against, you get into these spots, 2 spots every like 15 hours, where online you see that 2 spots maybe twice in 10 minutes, but you might have made a play one time in those couple spots and it worked, but it was a bad play, and then you think it's a good play, or vice versa, and that's just one of the ways that your learning curve is slower when you play casino.
I do think though, like one thing I will say is I do think you're probably getting better, but you're really only getting better at playing live PLO. It's a totally different beast. Like you have to feel out how to play against like mega whales that like, you know what I mean? Like you have to feel out how to play against these like stupid live like short stackers that buy in, like just like online used to be, like now there's live short stackers, like hit and run and whatever rat hole, and but you're not getting better as like a whole. You're just getting better for these live games. You know what I mean?
Actually, I've never thought that. I swear to God,
really?
I've never thought that ever. But I haven't played much live, but that's actually a great point. Because I feel like when I talk to people and I tell them, I'm like, hey, if you get better in these situations, you'll technically get better at online PLO, which I'm sure you're getting better at PLO, but they make some good points. You're probably getting better at a lot of live specific stuff then, more than overall kind of.
Definitely. I mean, I was with my friend in Vegas who was crushing the no limit games out there, and he keeps telling me he wants to learn PLO just because he thinks it's a more valuable game to know. And I'm like, yeah, just play in like the 5-10 game or whatever. He plays at Borgata usually, so I'm like, they have a 5-10 PLO game. I'm like, playing that game, And he's like, well, I really feel like I should be playing online, like to get better, And I'm like, he has a basic understanding of PLO. He knows hand strengths and stuff. He just hasn't played that much. And I was telling him, I don't really think online is going to help you because you don't want to be playing online. You're not going to be like a 5-10 reg. You want to be playing in casinos. And you're not really getting that much better for casinos by playing online, just like you're not getting any better for online when you're playing in casinos. They're totally different games, and you have to feel them out. Like learning how to play against live players is valuable for playing live games. It's completely worthless when you're playing online. I think online may translate a little more because you see a lot more spots, but like it's not like you can like. I mean, if you go to a live game and like you start 4-betting like ace king queen 8 with one suit because like someone's 3-bet you're just burning money. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just completely different. Like, and I think you get better at each one by playing it. I think you're probably getting better overall by playing online. But I think that you're definitely not getting worse by playing in live games. You know what I mean? Like you're learning. If you want to play live, play live. Like that's how you learn. That's in my opinion.
Well, I think some people are going to have some opinions on that as well, and I can't speak on it too much because like I said, I don't play any live, and I don't think about how to get better at anything or live related. So, but it's an interesting topic, and I think some of the live players might disagree with you in terms of getting good at live might translate a bit better to online. But I'm interested to hear some other topic. If anyone has anyone has something to add to that argument.
No, I wouldn't say it like it's like a definitive statement, like playing live won't make you better online or vice
I'm just
versa.
curious what other people think about it. Like maybe they might think it does translate for some specific reason. Maybe we just aren't thinking about
I
it.
don't know. From the games I play, and they're so different. It's like literally opposites. You know?
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll probably get some. Actually, someone has a question about a live. I think you might play live in New York. Do you know Andrew Brown?
No, I know who he is. I'm not friends with him.
Oh, okay. Todd asked in the live chat in the live stream. Matt asks, who is Dankness on Twitter? You're Dankness3.
Yeah, Dankness3. Give me some followers, man. You use that plug.
Dankness3.
Put a 3 on the end of the name.
Dankness3. Yeah, 309 followers, buddy. Step your follower game up, man.
I got all of them that summer when I won the bracelet, and I haven't gotten any since.
Oh yeah, we briefly grazed over the bracelet because we don't care about bracelets here on the High Stakes.
Yeah, it's not that important.
But where did you win that bracelet in? How much was it for?
It was in a $1,000 buy-in for 500,000.
Did you have all your action?
No, unfortunately not.
That's sad.
It's pretty sad too because it's only a 1K buy-in, but yeah, I think about like 65% of myself. I don't even really remember. I paid out a lot of people though. A lot of people bought little pieces and got paid out in bricks the next day.
Must be nice to be those guys. Who are your playing PLO? You have who are your favorite regs that you think are? Do you want to say who you think some of the better regs are playing in the current games that you're playing in on PokerStars right now?
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna pull up the Stars lobby and see if anyone's playing because I kind of forget people.
Yeah, sure.
So I've been playing a lot of 1-2, and
well, if you want to mention any of the guys you said playing Zoom too, that you might remember.
1-2. I mean these. I don't know what these guys are thinking. Like, I think Mr. Negreanu's pretty good. I see he's been playing 1-2. I'm assuming. I don't know. It's just like. All right, I'm going to go to 2-5 because I don't really want to say anything about these 1-2 rigs.
Okay. Mr. Negreanu is interesting. I know he got coaching from some people that I know, and he was playing a lot of higher stakes, deeper games. It's interesting that he's back at 1-2. I wonder if his style was not winning or if he just dropped down for other reasons.
Okay, I think Bong Bob is really good.
Bong Bob? Legend.
Yeah.
The legendary Bong Bob
is really, really good. I think that he's probably, and I know people might disagree with me, he's one that comes off the top of my head to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy, Fedor Zaitsev, he's like a 2-4 reg. I don't think he plays Zoom.
How do you spell his name?
Fedor, like Fedor.
Oh, Russian guy. He used to play No Limit.
Vaysev or something.
Yeah, I think he's played No Limit. I don't know if I played with him ever at PLO though. I know I played him No Limit. I think I played 5-10 No Limit.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. Yeah, I mean it's like I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else.
Bong Bob. Bong Bob didn't. No one. I don't think I would ever used to classify Bong Bob as a good player. So
I mean,
he's working on his game.
I don't know. Like, I think he gives me trouble. I don't know. He gives me trouble. I think like Paulie's good. Yeah, I think Paulie's good. I don't know. I mean, it's like the thing is like I really feel like all the good players, like the really good players, like I think I was talking to you about this. Like I was running really well earlier in the year at 2-5, and I was like, you know what? I could take some shots. Like I was playing a little 5-10, and I was like, I could take some shots at 10-20. But I looked at the 10-20 Zoom pool, and it's like Jeans, Odson, Ben 86, like Galfon sometimes, like, and it's like, do I really want to go from playing with a pool full of regs, which I don't necessarily think anyone's really that good, maybe a handful of people, to playing with like the best PLO players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the players that are really good just move up. Not to say that there aren't good players at 2.5, but I don't know. I guess I'm looking at the Zoom pool now. I can't think of anyone that I think of in particular. There definitely are good players at 2.5, and I will say this: 1.2 to 2.5 is a pretty massive jump.
You think so? I found that. I mean, when you talk to people, they say similar things, that 1.2 and 2.4, and I noticed that before when I did a really big month and I played mostly 2.4, but some 1.2. The difference in 1.2 and even 2.4 is like a pretty big difference in my opinion. Just because 1.2, it's like no one's like any good at all for the most part. I'm sorry to play 1.2 shots, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah.
but like
yeah.
there's a couple good guys, but for the most part, I mean the regs there are just kind of, whatever. I'm sorry if you play 1.2 guys, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
and then
I really don't want. I don't want to like fire up the whole 1.2 reg community, and get them to start playing good or anything. But I'm not too worried about that happening. But I just feel like so when I came home from Vegas, I hadn't played online in a while, like and when I started when I got to Toronto, I started playing. I was like, well, I want to ease back into it, so I played 1.2. And I think I was playing 1.2 for like a week before I started playing 2.5 again. And I was like really like fucking lost when I got to 2.5, only because I had been playing 1.2. And like just like it's like you can play 1.2 and literally do whatever you want. Like people aren't going to adjust. Like, and this is like, I mean, like shots fired or whatever, but this is just like playing the game. Like people just they're like they don't adjust. Like there's one fucking guy that notices I'm free betting him a lot, so he just literally starts four betting any four cards. Like that's their way of adjusting. Like he'll like five bet, he'll four bet five get it in with like 8-7-2-6 double suited. You know what I mean? Like which is whatever. It's better than just
yeah, not a bad play.
But then I jumped up to 2.5 and I'm like, wow, like and the general is probably the best 2.5 reg, I would say.
The general.
Yeah, old school guy. He's been around forever. He's very good.
Oh yeah, the Stars Red Problems told me he was the general one day. I'm like, you're not fucking the general.
I know the general. He's not the general. Like, but yeah. So I jumped up and I was like, wow, like, why is 2.5 so tough? Like, why is this so difficult? And I just realized it's because people are fucking playing. Like they're playing. Like at 1.2, they're just, I don't even know what they're doing. Like they're not.
They're just living.
Yeah, they're living. Like they're just like I don't know. I mean it's. So yeah, I'm trying to look at the 2.5 pool action.
We got a couple names in the chat. Victor Dahlgren and Matt Bush say Mr. Negreanu is quite good, and that's my recollection of him. Ocrop Ti is, I hate him. He runs really, really well, and I've never seen him lose a hand ever. So I would say he's one of the better players. You played with Lex Veldhouse, aka Razi.
Yeah. All right, so I definitely run good versus Lex. He actually said something to me in chat the other day. Like we were playing a hand and he 3-bet the small blind. So I can tell this hand, right? It's a little bit of strategy here, but I think the hand's interesting. It's just me and Lex in a nutshell. But he 3-bet the small blind. I was on the button, and I won't tell you my whole cards, but I will tell you I had a 6 in my hand. And the flop came 8-6-6, and he bet. And I raised. It was a rainbow flop, and he called. And the turn was an ace, bringing a backdoor flush draw, and he led. Which I thought was pretty interesting, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but what the fuck is he leading with there? So I called, and the river was another card that was a 5, and I had also had a 5 in my hand, so let's just I made a boat, and he just checks the river, and I go all in, and he goes, God, I don't even know why I bother with you. You always get there against me. So I definitely run well against him. Like Sea King too, I run well against Sea King. I don't know, like I mean honestly, like I don't really know, like No, I don't think Lex is very good. No offense to you, Lex. I think you're a good guy, but I don't really know what you're doing playing PLO, honestly. Like yeah. I, no offense to Lex, and I've met him in person, and he's a super nice guy. I, I don't know what he's doing playing PLO, but he probably thinks I suck. So whatever, like I don't really care.
Well, okay. I haven't played Lex in a while. He might be good. You think good now? He might be good.
If he is, he's doing a good job with his image.
Is Lex? How tall is Lex?
He's tall. Now
I
think he's gonna want to like fight me or something. I know he like beat Elke in a boxing match.
He's like my height. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4", isn't he?
You're not 6'4". I've met you before. There's no way you're 6'4".
6'3", 6'3", 6'3".
Like
I'm tall, dude. I measured the other day at my assessment. She said almost 6'4".
Maybe you grew a little.
I swear, that's what the doc. She told me it. She said it.
Grown.
Call her up.
Yeah,
I'll get her on the phone. Call her right now.
Lex is like 6'2". He's a big dude.
I'll call her right fucking now. Where's she at?
No, it's all right. I believe you, dude. You don't have to.
How tall am I? How tall am I? Tell him. Tell him. No, she's not there. You're fine.
I see. You might be 6'2". Maybe you grew. Hey, maybe you grew a couple inches, man. Good for you. I would like to grow a couple inches.
I mean, I can only tell you what they told me at the assessment. Maybe they're lying to me, I don't know what height is. I've never even known I was tall until like a year ago. I thought people said I was tall. I thought they were lying to me.
No, you are tall. You're taller than me. Like I'm fairly. I like to consider myself normal size, but I'm probably short. But you're not 6'2". I mean, you're not 6'4". That's what I'm saying, from my recollection of you.
Prop bet?
No, I'm not gonna prop bet. You went to the fucking doctor the other day. Get the fuck out of here. So are you gonna bet on Yarny?
Speaking of dude. Have you been studying? Have you been studying interviewing or something?
I think I could do a pretty good podcast, honestly.
I think so too. Might have to. There you go, kid.
But I could do a good one too. No, I was thinking about it because we were talking about prop betting, and I see this bet. It looks kind of interesting, and I saw you were thinking about dropping a little 30 ball on him or something.
Okay, transition, my friend. I might put you on the podcast network. I'm gonna be starting up very soon.
Hey man, if you ever want to take a day off,
I'm perfect. Okay, not a bad idea. So. The Yarny prep bet, as you mentioned, it's let me pull up the thread and link to it in the.
I'm gonna get some more water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Getting some good comments in the live stream. I'll get to a couple of these questions you guys had about switching to PLO in a bit, just because I see some pretty decent questions that I'll answer later. So I'm going to pull up this thread for those who haven't seen it. It's the Yarny prep bet thread, the one I mentioned earlier. So it's on 2+2, and it's basically 100 buy-ins and 31 days prep bet, and odds 2-1, and he can play heads up at 6 max tables, and he can play 6 max games and Zoom, but only heads up at a 6 max table starting a game, but not heads up tables on their own. And 100 buy-ins, 5, 10, 10, 20, 20, 50, 50, 100. Min hands 70,000. So if he runs really good in the first 20K hands, he has to play 70,000 hands total and be up 100 buy-ins.
Oh, okay. So he can't just get to the 100 and then stop.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has to. That was something somebody proposed.
Oh, that's good. That's important.
Yeah. Somebody proposed it, and I thought that was a really, really great. I posted that was a really great idea, and then it became a rule because whoever I can't remember that was an excellent suggestion.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, escrow is going to be Ike Haxton. I think I might be a judge. I'm not sure. I think he asked me, but if I bet, I'm probably not going to be a judge, obviously. And I'm thinking about betting, just because Yarny runs so fucking good that, if he's runs so good, he's so crazy and he runs good. I don't know, man. I think he can pull it off. But
it makes sense. And you're getting 2-1, right? So you're betting to double your money.
Right. Yeah. This thread is in the high stakes PLO thread on 2+2, guys. If you want to check it out, it's about 7 pages. Right now, I think it's about. I think he's betting 30 or 50K of his own money to win 60 or 100K, something like that. It's going to be a big fucking bet. So he's going to start in about the beginning of September around W Coop time, and yeah. What do you think about his chances, buddy? You think about betting? I called you buddy 4 times now. I'm sorry.
I don't like betting for a couple reasons. Because one is I'm a sucker for odds, so I almost never bet when I'm not getting odds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know much about Yarny, but if I was going to bet, I would instantly bet for him just because of the 2-1. Like, I'm a sucker for that, extra money you're getting. I will say the Yorugu prop bet threw me off a lot. Like that really just blew my mind, honestly. I was like sure he was gonna win, and then he just quit. Like he fucking quit. That was like insane. Like the dude like literally has flipped for millions of dollars, and he just quits a prop bet. Like that, I did not see that coming at all.
Well, as people know that watch my podcast preview, what I predicted was pretty much essentially what happened. That was like there is absolutely no chance. There's 0% chance. I bet it all against him. There is not a chance he's doing this. And for the reasons that I thought would happen, that's exactly what happened. And this Yarny prep bet, I got to think more about it because it's very interesting. And I'm going to do a podcast preview. I think he's going to be on it too. So,
Wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this happen, and I think it'll be something fun for people to follow along. So,
and this is not like to anyone else, but I don't. I mean, I don't give a fuck about Ike. He's got millions, but I hope Yarny wins. Honestly, like I think that'd be awesome. Like, I don't know how good he is, but fuck it. It's not even about how good you are. It's about how good you run.
I definitely think when I was been playing with him over the years, I thought he was always one of the better players. Whether better meaning just aggressive, putting you in a bunch of situations, or actually winning money. I mean, was he winning money in the past couple of years? I don't know. There's been some speculation by Caramont that he might have went busto and then won that W Coupe. I think he got second in W Coupe PLO tournament, and then he started playing 45-50 again, and then just ran it up. So
he definitely seems like someone who runs it up and then might bust it.
Well, he even said that. He doesn't care about the money. He's just like how I used to be. He just plays to put in 6 sessions. Like, he doesn't necessarily...
That's why the 70K hands is huge for that prop bet. And that's what we think. If it was just like straight up, he needs 100 buy-ins, I definitely would bet in his favor or want to bet in his favor. But because of the 70K, I'm almost tempted to bet against him because of like his tendencies, I think.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I wish I knew how he handled tilting better and long sessions better.
He just crumbles and pulls a Yoruba.
You see, I don't think so. Yarny's he seems like a different type of animal. He seems like he's got a little that psychotic grind ethic that I don't meet too many people that have in them. Just because I don't know, man. He's like one of the younger kids too. And when you're younger, sometimes you're like the Isildur kind of thing, where you just don't give a fuck. You're just like, I'm just gonna do this to get it done. Like, and it's not even about making the money. It's not about any of that. It's just about beating this challenging game. It's like a level on a game sort of thing. So
yeah.
What'd you say?
No, sorry. I was just looking at something on Skype.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the Yoruba thing. What do you have to do? You have to break even.
He had to.
Or like have a win rate, like have like a positive win rate.
I think that was it, positive win rate. Or no, up money. He had to be up money at the end of it.
I was playing with him a bunch during it, and I like donated like 4K to him just at like 2-4, and it was sick too because it was like he was. I don't like to bitch about running bad, but like he was tilting for a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you played with Yoruba when he tilts, but he gets it in really fucking bad. Like it's impressive in PLO how bad he gets it in. You know what I mean?
You can go back in the PLO thread about 2 or 3 years ago. Me and Yoruba did this constantly for 4 months straight, and he'd swear at me all the time. So yes,
yeah.
I tried to tell him to calm down. I was like, Yoruba, you need to calm down, bro. But
I didn't know. I don't know anyone who tilts like that. By the way, I mean I actually have some tilt problems, but he makes me look like Ike Axton. I mean the guy is like, but so anyway, like he's crushing me. Like he's up like 4K on me, and not in like a couple days at 2-4. And I look in the thread, and he's like, "Quit the bet." I'm like, "How could you just won 4K from me? All you have to do is like win a little money. How do you quit the bet?" Like, I don't know. That was really weak to me, honestly.
Somebody says in the chat, Aaron Overton says, "Danky, talk about that hand you won with Queen High this summer in the aftermath."
Queen High.
Do you want to hand with Queen High? You forget?
I think he's just making that up. Oh. Can you ask him what? Or I can type in there, right?
Yeah. Shout out to my little bro in the chat. What's up, bro? My little bro, he's a future PLO player. Currently 2-tabling the play chip tables on PokerStars.
I do randomly. I have a funny Jungle Man story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So a couple summers ago. No, this was 2000. I think 2011. 2011 or yeah, 2011. I was in Vegas and I was playing the 1025 game at Rio, the no limit game they had like running every day. I don't know if you've been there. It's in that weird like little high section.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
I was like just having a really rough summer. I was losing, and I was playing in a game, and it wasn't even a good game really, but I was just playing in it every night. And I'm playing it. It's like 3 in the morning, um, and there's it's like three-handed. Like the game's like breaking basically. It's me and two other regs, and Jungle Man walks into the room, and he kind of looks around, and he like looks at the table. He's like, "This no limit," and we're like, "Yeah," and he sits in the game. It's like at this point, I'm like, this is what my summers come to. Like, I came out here to make money, and I'm playing shorthanded with fucking Jungle Man. You know what I mean? Like, it's 4 in the morning. He sits in the game. Um, he's a funny dude. Like, he's a quirky dude. Like, he sits in the game. It seems like he's talking to himself a little. Mumbling stuff. We play a hand where it was literally like he raised pre-flop to 75 and I defended the big blind. And I had like middle pair, and on the river, like he checked around, and on the river I threw out like a small value bet. I bet like 150, and he called, and I was like, I have a 7, and he's like, you got a 7, and he just like starts mumbling to himself like, how do you have a 7? Like, and just like snap mucks his hand, super angry. I'm like, what the fuck? This is like a $300 pot. Like, is this Jungle Man? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, he's getting so angry. And another funny thing is we're sitting there, and he's like, the waitress comes by, and he's like, do you guys have anything to eat or whatever? And he's like, no, I can get you something from the store. And he's like, oh yeah, just like a bag of Doritos or something. So she comes back with this bag of Doritos, and he starts eating it and like shuffling his chips with like both hands while eating the Doritos, and like he's getting them like everywhere. Like it was like really like, and then like the waitress comes back like a little while later with a water, and she only has one water left on the tray, and I grab it, and I see that he's like kind of like he can't even open his mouth because he's got too many Doritos and he's parched or whatever. So I gave him the water or whatever. I was being very nice to him, and he, so anyway, a little while later, he's on the button, and he makes it 50. He was min raising. He makes it 50. I make it 200 in the small blind with ace-7 offsuit, and he calls. And the flop is ace-10-9 rainbow, and I bet like 300, and he calls. And the turn is a king. I'm not sure if I think he might have brought like a backdoor flush draw. And I check, and he bets 675. And I call.
Ace, king, 9-10, backdoor flush draw on the turn. River.
Ace, 10, 9, king. Yeah, backdoor flush draw on the turn. 675, I call. The river's like a 3 or like a 4. It didn't do anything really. I check, and he like thinks a little and goes all in. And it was like a pretty big bet. Like it was like probably a little bit more than pot. Like I probably had like, like 3K left or something. And I'm like thinking, and I'm like, what do I really beat? But then I was like, you know what? He's fucking Jungle Man. You know what I mean? Like it's Jungle Man. And I called, and he goes, what do you have? I go, I have an ace, and he goes, you have an ace? And he just does the same thing he did before, but like way worse. It's like, how do you have an ace there? Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, there's so many different equities in hands. Like, how do you have aces? Ace-7, and just snap mucks his hand super angrily. He was so angry and like confused. And I was just like, that was like the highlight of my summer by far. One of the highlights of my poker career, probably. But was getting, and I've noticed he kind of does the same thing now. I hear about him in live tournaments and stuff, mumbling to himself and getting really angry. But afterwards, he apologized actually afterwards. I think he's probably a pretty nice dude, but I don't know. That was a funny story I had with him.
Well, you've told a tragic story and you've told a funny story. So I thank you for balancing your storytelling range.
Yeah, I try to stay balanced with my storytelling.
The guy in the chat says in PLO with Calvin that a man named Danny came by. A queen high.
Oh yeah, well it's kind of it's not really a funny. The hand is like I think like I was playing in a game at Rio and I for some reason a couple of my buddies were behind the table and I ended up just like I called like a 4-bet for like 18, you know, like I put in like $800 pre-flop with like 10 high, and then like I flopped like a gutter ball straight flush draw, and I just like potted it into two people, and you know, guy had aces, and I scooped it, and I think that's the hand he's talking about, and my friend was behind the table, and he's like, yo, let me get a little bonus for the sweat. Two of my friends were behind the table. One of them I'm actually good friends with. The other one I can't stand. And so the kid's like, let me get a sweat. And I had like 20 bucks and five. So I give him the 20 bucks and we start laughing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, cause watch the hand or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he gives it back and he like walks away. And the other kid's like, yo, let me get a sweat. The one I don't really like. And so I give him the 20 bucks that he just gave me back, like as a joke. And he just walks away with it. Never came back. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I didn't really care because I just put a big up. I was like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
He just took your money and took off?
Well, I guess he thought I was like giving it to him. I don't fucking know. That kid, I'm not going to name him, but that kid is the fucking worst. So if you're watching this and you're that kid, you should just know that.
Many people in the chat are saying your Jungle Man impression is very awesome. I'm curious, do you do an Odd Odson impression?
Boys and girls, this is Odd Odson for Run It Once. I probably like to 3-bet here to keep balanced, but yeah, I don't know. He's a good player. I don't know. I've never met Odd Odson, but that's what he sounds like. Hi, boys and girls. Odd Odson here. Run It Once. It's funny because Run It Once like has all these like Scandi coaches now, and like they're super good players, but I can't even fucking understand half the shit they say. You know what I mean? Like you got Galfan making these like videos where his voice is so sweet and pure to put you to sleep, but these guys are like, you know, like you got this guy like, oh, it's Durian, you know, it's Odd Odson, it's Duran, you know, like these, like they're good players, but you know.
I agree. My friend Ryan Dowd, who you mentioned earlier, he sent me a video of him doing a Odd Odson impression. Let me get this video up. Hold on, I can get the video up for you guys. So my friend Ryan linked this on my Facebook page, and let's see if we can pull up the impression here. He claimed he did a mean Odd Odson impression, and he sent me a video, and he wasn't wearing a shirt in the video. Oh my god! And he posted it on my wall for balance and for card removal. So hold on, let me pull this video up. Sorry, Ryan. All right, hold on, let's pull this up. Can we get it up here? What's this? Let's see. Okay, let's hear it.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Delta 44 doing a video podcast from my bed. Tired, but you know, the fans would like to get some advice from me. Hopefully, this haunts your dreams as much as the voice of Watson.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really accurate too.
Yes. So
I'll post a link on there, but he goes through, he breaks down Odson where he says like he might have a 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 4, 6, 6, 6.
I remember it because I think I've seen the video where he says that.
Yeah, and it's a very great impression, and he appears to be naked in bed, so it makes the impression even better because he just assumes Odson makes videos naked in his home in Norway.
I find the Sauce video is kind of funny because like he's usually got that headset on.
Yeah.
But he's talking totally serious, you know, and he's like joking around, but he's got that big ass headset on, he's got like a little funny grizzly beard. And then the last one, he was like walking the whole time, like on a treadmill or something. Like he's like, so yeah, I think I would 3-bet here, and then I like to call sometimes for balance, but he's literally just walking on like a treadmill, and it's so funny to watch. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but it's hilarious.
I mean, and then the next one, well, actually, Jay Nandez, he made a video recently, and he said he was riding a bike during the video, inspired by Sauce. So, and then I started thinking about, I was like, I wonder if I can make a podcast where I'm like maybe like lifting weights or something like while during the video or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be like the future of video making now, to like put a little picture of yourself in the video, like so they can see what you're doing, and just like maybe eat a sandwich or something while you're making the video, or you know what I mean, like get high or something. I don't even know what would be that good, but it's a pretty funny.
Odson must sound like the Norwegian Dr. Evil. You might. Someone says. Levi.
Yeah, isn't he only 21 or something too?
Who? Odson?
Yeah, I thought he was young.
No. He's been playing forever. Which doesn't mean he's necessarily not 21, but he's definitely not 21. Not 20. Let's see. Levi Jones, who's I don't know if I should say his screen name. He says, keep up the good work. You're making PLO more popular. Joe, I hope so, man. PLO's an awesome game, just like what Dankness said.
I think he's talking about me, though, Joe. I don't know if he's talking about you.
Joe, keep up the good work.
Oh.
Joe.
I see.
I think he might even talking about you. He might be.
Yeah, no, he was talking about you.
Let's get into a couple more hands. I got some fun hands here. So this hand is another questionable play. All right. Dankness, keep up the good work. You're making weed more popular, buddy. Keep up the good work.
Ansky hand.
You did make weed more popular, actually. But yeah, this is Ansky hand. You might notice a common theme with some of these hands. I feature on people that
Oh my God, this is the best hand yet.
So Morgoth posted somewhere on the Ukrainian forums that he's been watching Razluka play, and this hand appears to be inspired by him. So 25-50 zoom hand. F.A. Morgoth, who is a short stacker, he's got 67 big blinds, and Ansky raises the small blind with Queen 3-5 with Queen 5 clubs, and Morgoth defends the big blind with King 4-6-9, 6-4 spades. So okay.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I understand his logic for defending. Flop Jack 3-5. So Ansky's got Queen 3-5. He flops bottom 2 pair with backdoor club draw, and Morgoth has King 4-6-9. So he has open-ended straight draw. Ansky bets 225 into 300. Morgoth goes ahead and calls. The turn is a 5, which gives Ansky a full house and gives Morgoth a backdoor flush draw with still his open-ended straight draw.
Oh, no, he's in position. I thought he was in the.
Yeah, he's in position. Yeah, that's what I meant. Pre-flop.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That makes the hand different.
So board is Jack 5-5-3. Ansky continuation bets the turn with his full house 550 into 750, and Morgoth calls. River 8 of diamonds. So Jack 5-5-3-8. A flush draw misses. Morgoth ends up with King high and Ansky full house. Ansky bets 1475 into 1850. Morgoth decides this is a good time to go all in for $977 more, and he loses the hand. He loses the $6,700 pot. Now,
this is really ambitious.
Yeah,
it's one of the most ambitious bluffs I've ever seen.
I'm gonna send you some hand histories I played then, because I can understand. I mean, I don't necessarily. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Guys out there listening, please try this out. Tell us if it works.
See if it works, and do it in the 2-5 games.
Yeah, please let me and Dankness know. Next hand, featuring Yarny and an up-and-coming Futek. It's been grinding nonstop.
What's up with him? I played a lot with him mid-stakes, and now he seems to be crushing big, or what?
Well, let me show you this hand, and we'll sum up what's been going on with Futek, okay?
I see what's been going on now.
And then we can, yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, so 5100 zoom hand, 15.
What the hell is he doing?
Futek opens the button with Ace 7-5-3 with nut suit. Yarny 3-bets the small blind with Jack 10-8. Jack 10 of hearts, reasonable hand to 3-bet. There are 150 big blinds, so Yarny's small blind, Futek in the big blind. Futek defends. The flop, King Jack 4, so Yarny flops middle set with backdoor straight and backdoor flush draw. Futek flops a blocker to a wrap, or blocker, yeah, he blocks a wrap, and I know he's I don't fucking know. He flops a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. I'm trying to like give it a hand that he has, but he doesn't actually have much. So Yarny continuation bets 1100 into 1800. Futek makes a raise to 2900, so 1800 more, and Yarny goes ahead and call. Futek's
Wait,
raise.
at this point, what do you think? What card do you think Futek's calling out in his mind for the turn?
I mean, I'm not even sure. Like
6.
Six of hearts. No.
The only card he wants to see is the 6.
2 of hearts. 2 of hearts is better.
Is it?
Because it gives him a straight flush draw, which probably doesn't actually make a difference, but it gives him a bigger wrap. So any ace then gives him a straight.
Yeah, but the ace is like weird. But yeah, okay. So 2 or 6.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's 6. Like it's just funny that he like this hand like seems like scripted. You know what I mean? That he like makes this fucking weird raise and then he's like 6, and then it gets a 6.
Well, the turn's a 6, guys, and Dankness ruined the suspense. Turn 6 of spades. Yarny checks his middle set. Futek decides to bet pot. Obviously, Yarny goes all in, and they get all in for about $11,000 on the turn. So Yarny turns a wrap, and on the river he hits a straight for the nuts, and he takes down a $30,000 pot. And this just goes to show you guys the power of the backdoor draw. When you have a backdoor straight draw.
Oh, look at the odds. He had 40% on the turn.
That's pretty sick.
You know what's pretty sick too? He had 14% on the flop.
I know.
That's pretty fucking sick. Maybe he's onto something.
I think he might be. I think what he's trying to teach you guys out there is you should be, when you have backdoors on the flop, you should show aggression and bluff raise.
Play them aggressively. Backdoors are huge.
And then when you turn 40% and get it in. Are you sure?
I see this is why he's made the jump to higher stakes.
Exactly, and this is what I tell you. You got to win these situations. You got to win these hands. You got to make some plays and win them and keep making them and keep winning them. And yeah. 2 more hands. This one, not much to say. So it features our old friend Zygmunt, Hillary Finn. And now Hillary, well, Hillary wins his hand, so he made a good play. And I once again, this is another play we encourage you to try out there. So it's a 5100 zoom hand, and Futek raises under the gun. I'm just gonna say the action first, then I'll say the hands because it gets all in basically. So Futek, do you see the flop? Oh my god! All right, sorry guys, sorry. What the
yeah, how the fuck does Hillary win this hand?
You see the flop? Okay, Futek raises to 300 under the gun. Mickey 696 3 bets in position to 1,050. There's some guy H6499H I've never heard of. I'm assuming he's the spot in the Zoom game. Cold calls the small blind. Hillary cold calls the big blind with Jack 657 with Jack 5 of hearts. Now the three better Mickey has 72 big blinds. He's not he's not a deep stack. And Hillary flats the big blind with Jack 657. Futek, who raised under the gun, 4 bets to 5250. Mickey goes all in for 7282. H6499H goes all in for 7300. Well, actually, the flop makes more sense now that I see this. Hillary calls the 7300 with the Jack 657. Futek obviously calls. The pot's 30K on the flop. And all right, that makes sense, the flop. So the flop's Queen Jack 2. And Hillary has Jack 5-6. Hillary decides to shove all in for his last 9,500 into 30K. I'm guessing he's trying to get Futek to fold. I don't know. Futek does fold.
How did Futek fold there?
I mean, his plays might be. I guess he's fucking genius. So the other guy's hands aren't important. Rather, listening in the audio version of this and not seeing the video. But basically, Hillary makes a straight on Queen Jack 2. And he takes down a 30K pot. And now...
Beauty of PLO.
now... yeah. Maybe this is one of those spots that's closer than you think.
I mean, that's the thing though, is like this. I think like at first glance you see this and you're just like, this is terrible. What the fuck is Hillary doing? But you think about it a little more and you're like, well, if these guys all have big cards and he's got little ones, he's getting pretty good odds in terms of the like percentages like multi-way. So fuck it, gamble.
I think what you have to worry about is H6499 having a hand that dominates him in the small blind. So that might one thing you have to worry about. And Fuchek probably gonna make.
Yeah, but Hillary doesn't strike me as too much of a worrier, if you know what I mean. I would not describe him like that.
Yeah, he's on drugs all day long, drinking.
He doesn't run it twice, right?
I have no idea.
All right, because my image of him would definitely take a hit if he ran it twice.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, guys, please try these plays out. Let me and Dankness know. We'd like to know.
I will say that I've tried these plays out, and they do work, I would say, more than half the time.
Okay, good. Well, last hand, Joe R.I., a.k.a. Love to Play You, a.k.a. Love to Program You, a.k.a. Be My Guest Bud, a.k.a. The Cheater.
Yeah,
now,
this is he's going to be known as the cheater from now on.
He was known as the cheater when he flat called with the goddamn nut flush against me when I had a straight flush. Fuck him, man. He knows things. All right, so this hand, basically it's the hand that Joe R.I. posted in the forums. He has Ace-King, 6-2 of hearts, and he raises a small blind, the big blind defends. The flop is 9-6-8 with 3 hearts. So he flops 8. He has Ace-King of hearts. He has a nut flush, and he has a blocker, a second nut flush. The small blind continuation bets $42, and he calls. The turn is a 5 of diamonds, so it's 5, 6, 8, 9. Still 3 hearts. He still got the nuts. The small blind checks. He decides to slow play and check back. The river's a 4 of diamonds. It's 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. The small blind bets about, I can't do math, $107 and $142. And he flat calls with the nut flush. And the other guy's got 10-7 hearts. And so he checks behind the nut flush at the turn. And the river he just calls with the flush.
Super user.
I don't. Maybe he does this and he doesn't post the times when the guy has the queen high flush.
I mean, how do you balance this?
I don't know. Is he raising? So if he's not raising the river with the nut flush,
it's just like it's blind versus blind. Like there's so many. I don't know. This just blows my mind. But whatever. You know, good hand, Jory. You definitely lost the minimum.
In theory, if he raises the river, the guy's going to be like, "There's no way this guy checked back the nut flush on me." If the guy has a worse flush, so I don't necessarily know how. I don't get how he thinks that a queen high flush or a jack high flush wouldn't call here because, I mean, I wouldn't fold. I mean, I'd fold the one to him, but I wouldn't fold a queen high flush to most people if they check back the turn and then raise the river on me. I don't think I'd fold too often. So.
I mean, also like checking back the turn, like when the dude might call him with straight. You know, it's over my head, man. This might be why Jory is like constantly flip-flopping between, 50 cent a dollar and 10K and O or PLO.
Well, I have some speculation on why that might be, but that's another podcast.
Because of taxes? Oh yeah.
That's another podcast for another time. Hillary was feeling the backdoor quad draw. Yeah, he might have been feeling the backdoor quad draw. First time live streamer. I can see your live stream because I'm from Europe. What's up, KJSD, DJ, KK, LSDA, SDA, SDA, SDA? What's up, buddy? Fuck Morgo. If anyone could drag Fake or Real from this hideout, get him on in a story.
Oh, Fake or Real is great. That would be amazing because people say like he wins a lot, but he literally plays like 80% of hands and 3-bets like half of them.
Dankness, he wins a lot. Let's leave it at he wins.
That's awesome. I mean, good for him.
It's a winning player. It's a winning strat.
I think I would say, I don't know if he's winning at mid-stakes or high stakes or what, but I'm assuming it's mostly mid-stakes. I think that says a lot about the state of the games if he's winning a lot.
You know what? We'll bring this back next week for part 2. There's some good questions in the comments. I don't want to go past 2 hours too much, and it's at 2 hours and 2 minutes. So,
all right. Good stop time.
All right. Guys in the live stream, thank you for joining. Thank you for the questions. Shout out to Reg Problem. Shout out Matt Bush. Shout out KJ. Shout out Victor Draglin. Fuck you, Mahit. Shout out Jasper Van Morsel. And we got some good questions in here. Ship it 2 kg Rems. Dankness, thanks for coming on, buddy. Thanks for telling us some great
stuff.
stuff.
Buddy.
And there's a couple questions in the comments. We'll get to them next week, so come back in. I'll tweet out the live stream link, and I'll post a reminder about the time, probably Thursday, Friday, something like that, okay? All right. Thank you, guys. Follow me on Twitter, Johnny1, at Dankness3.
Thanks, guys.